So let's begin. Okay. So hello everyone. Hello everyone that are watching on YouTube, on Swipel, right here in the room. Okay. We are. I'm speaking to you from Brighton. Okay, from the Brighton Mafia Club. We have people from a UK Mafia Club here in the room that came all the way from London and other locations. And of course, we have a free drop M and Pirate and Baby Boss and Dusher. Okay, so Dusher, Free, and Drop are going to be the main presenters today. So thank you so much for volunteering. You are all the way in Tel Aviv and the nearby area. So thank you so much for joining today. We have people joining from home, like Patrick and Lukita. We have people from all over the world. And today and I want to first thank M. Okay, Moran, for putting this whole evening together, bringing people from across the planet on the same time, the same platform, to both to present and to discuss and collecting questions and all the work that was put behind the scenes. So thank you so much, M. Moran, for bringing everyone together. And of course, thank you, Dusho and Free and Drop, for volunteering to give from your knowledge. So I'm gonna, without further ado, I'm gonna pass it to Moran. If you can introduce Dusho, Free and Drop a bit and tell us a bit about what made you organize this and select those three particular individuals, what are their credentials and a little bit and what they have done. And then we can hear from them a presentation on Red Card, which is something we're all very much excited about. And then we can later we'll open it to Q&A, to questions and answers. And finally, we're going to play Mafia together. This is all very exciting. So a round of applause for everyone. Well done. Thank you.
Okay, before I start with the introductions, I want to thank Mordred Diar for the technical assistance, the organization, and the work behind the scenes, because I nagged him terribly the entire week. So thank you. So now, I'm going to introduce our main speakers. We have Dusho. Dusho is playing in the Nightfall Club at Israel Ramat Gan for the last 4.5 years. He is also main teacher at our own Nightfall Academy, where he inspires the.
I'm just sorry for jumping in. Okay, we only now the audio started to work on the stream. Okay, no, sorry. It's okay. Sorry. So sorry. Continue. Now it's working very well. Amazing. Thank you, Moran. Yeah.
Dusho is a
Thank you. Continue. Amazing. Well done. Yeah.
Introducing Dusha, he plays at the Nightfall Mafia nightclub club for the last 4.5 years. He also teaches at our Nightfall Academy to inspire the new generations. Premier League player. Oh yeah, you just cropped me off. Free is a very senior player. He plays for the last 5.5 years. He won the excellency for the Sheriff Awards in the Nightfall Club. And of course, we have Drop, who is a little genius. He just got certified as a judge for Theme and Muff lately. He is a very talented player. When Yael asked me to organize the Masterclass, I thought of them immediately because all of them have a unique game style. They know how to explain things, and they knew that they will give us more than the basic and more than the usual. Okay, you're red, they're black. Vote with the red investigation. I wanted them to bring more from their experience and to bring more to the table, so we can use advanced tips and play style. So let's start the lecture. Have fun, and we'll enjoy the game later.
I will also ask, if you're not speaking, if you can mute yourselves, okay, when you're not speaking. So then it's one person at a time. Amazing. Thank you very much, Moran.
So hello everyone. Like Moran said, I'm Dusher and I have Free and Drop with me. We are all players in the Nightfall Club in Israel. And I think what we're going to talk about today is the red card. Like I think for most, if you played most other social deduction games, then the general civilian sense tends to be the most boring card all around the game. I think in Mafia it's probably the most interesting role by a lot, and I think we're going to try to explain to you both like why is it interesting and maybe some basic how you should think about playing the red card and how you're going to use the tools of a game to basically win more and play the game much more logically and win more by default. So basically, dividing the lecture between the three of us is a bit difficult. So we try to do the best we can. So me and Drop are going to do a little bit of a conclusion of how to play the game from like round zero all the way to guess, and then we have Free to give us some tips and tricks he has on finding other red players, and then we're going to answer some Q and A's when based on questions that we got from advance, and maybe if you want to ask us during the during this Q and A afterwards. But the first thing we're going to need to make sure is like that we understand like the role of a civilian in mafia. Like you need to do only three things in the. If you're doing any more, then you're wasting your time, and if you're doing less, then you're not using your minute efficiently. So there are three things you need to do. The first one, obviously, is to find the other mafia players and eliminate them. Like that makes sense. That's how we win the game as civilians, by eliminating the mafia players. The second thing, which I think that a lot of players, even advanced players, often forget, is that you need to help the other red players understand that you are a red player yourself. Because remember, during the beginning of the game, the only players who know your color are yourself and the mafia team. So it's really important to use your time to help the other civilians, which do not know your colors, to understand that you are red and they should play with you and not against you. And that's the second thing. We said to eliminate the black players to help the other civilians find your red colors. And the third thing you need to do is to prevent other red players or people or players you think are red players to leave the gaming table. Because remember, at any given point in most games, if town ever removes a second civilian during voting phase, then that's an automatic win for the mafia. So you need to, if you think that another player is red, you need to do the best thing, everything you can to keep him in the table, to take fouls, to shift a vote to you, to give arguments to how, as to why they're red, and to shift blame into other places, but keep them on the table if you think they're red. So that's the three things we want to do: to find black players, to explain to the table why we are red, and to prevent other red players to leave the table. In order to do that, we have some tools from round zero to balance to counter shave. Like we have lots of tools as red players we can use uh, to do this thing, all these three things more consistently. And so to do that, I'll now shift the mic to Drop, who will begin talk us through the beginning of the game and how he approaches it.
Yes, I want to begin with round zero. In my opinion, this is the most important round of the game. Why? And this round is first impressions. We all know that usually in life, first impressions last a lot, and so it is in the table as well. Your first minute can decide your color for the entire game for some players. And I also like to give a lot of weight to the first round. Why? Because in this round, there's not a lot of distractions. Later in the game, there's going to be sheriffs and checks and who votes where and the balance and the splits and whatnot. But in this first round, there's only your minute. You can judge people only by their minute and only by their arguments and who they play with. And I believe this gives a better accuracy for colors. So that's why I recommend you to value your round zero colors and remember them throughout the game if you get to five or less players. Second thing, what is important to do in this round? First of all, you need to let other people know that you're red. This is usually done by just saying who you trust and who you don't trust. Usually, if you bring a good enough explanation, people can find your color through that. What else you should do? You should separate other players into groups, but these groups are dynamic. Remember, these are not static for the entire game, but you should try to look for players that are, for example, not the same team. If two players are attacking each other very hard, you should remember for later in the game that they are probably not together on the same team. Uh, you should also try to look for players that people are avoiding to take while inside the position. For example, if there's a position of 1-3-5, and people are starting, and after later in the round, people are starting to leave five out of the position and take other players instead of him while keeping the position minimal. Make sure you know that to yourself, that people chose to drop this player. They chose to leave him out of the position. This could be an indication of Mafia trying to thin a red position, trying to, or it could be red players that found a Mafia that are trying to sneak in between reds. Another thing I would say is don't play too positional. The positional game is fine. It's good. It's better to value what players are taking into their team, but it's more important to value their arguments. A player that takes a player that I think is black with good arguments might still be red for me. Why? Because the way they think is much more important than the players they take or trust. Um, this is usually what I would say for round zero. More advanced stuff for this round is thinking of different splits you can do at the end of the round. I will touch it just briefly, but instead of a two-player split, if the first half of the table didn't speak that well, you can choose to do a five-player split, so you can get your colors more accurately there. Or if you want to raise two players, you can do a three-player split, and then a two-player split following that. I won't get too much into that, but I just want to keep your head open for that. And let's move into the first round of 9 players. In this round, you need to value who was shot. Usually, the first shooting is done dynamically in competitive games. Dynamically, this means the first person shot is either considered very red in the table or a potential sheriff. If a player was shot, it's not by accident. It's not like Mafia shoot players who are in the right direction, who found red players or who found black players. So you need to value wills. But the second thing is nominate people. Nominate a lot of people. There's never bad thing to happen with options. The more options you have, the better. Nominate people that didn't speak, even if you don't suspect them. Maybe they'll have a very bad minute, or and you will want the option to maybe vote for them or split them or do whatever you want with them. The second thing that is the third thing that is opening up in this round, that sheriff checks might be online in this game. There is also the possibility of doing balance. What is balance? Balance is when you take a guaranteed player from one team and vote him out, and the round afterwards you vote a guaranteed player from the other team. This must be done with checks. No, I think no sort something like that, because sometimes red players are incorrect, and if you don't work with checks, it won't. You might lose games because of that. I would say, in terms of balance, I really recommend using it. It's a very good tool that leads you to 5 players and later on in the game. As a red player, time is in your advantage. You want as much time as possible. The more time people speak, the more opportunities for the mafia to make mistakes and fall and give and reveal their black color. So time is good for us. We want to get to 5 players. It's very good for us in the game. Uh, but I would like to digress a bit. While getting to 5 players is very good, if you don't believe a sheriff, you need to consider the possibility of maybe not doing balance, because if the other sheriff is out, there's always the possibility for the mafia to kill the real sheriff after voting out a black check. You need to consider always what is the worst possible scenario if I vote this player out. Sometimes the worst possible scenario is a loss, and sometimes the worst possible scenario is a very improbable game to win with no sheriff and no checks. I would say the voting in 9 players is the most important voting in the game. It gives the most information for you because it is not critical, and usually you can find very accurately the color of the player that left the table at 9 players. If a player left with a lot of hands, usually that means he left as red because Mafia placed their hand into that player. If a player left with less hands, this could indicate that the Mafia split their voting or didn't manage to align themselves with town, and thus the player might be might be leaving as a black player. It is important to remember the votes in this round. This round's votes give a lot of information and can a lot of time reveal the two teams that you'll need to choose between them. Going into 7-player round, I'll hand it back to Dusher. And this is probably a critical round.
Yeah, so like Job said, we had round 0 where we built the foundations of a game. We then had first shot. We had our discussions, and then in 9 players, we finally have a voting phase where players can finally make some decisive impact on the game, like both red and black. And this is like the first moment when you can, when like sheriffs, if they haven't revealed, they should reveal right by now, because we're in critical round, because we don't know what the players that was voted before left as, and we need to vote together. So if in 9 players, we were hoping for as many possible votes as we want, because we want to be able to vote whether we want, and we want to get information by vote, and the less votes people get, the more information this gives. So in 7 players, we want to vote together, because in critical round, if a single red player votes to a different red player, then all the mafias can add their hands to the vote of a red player and win the game on the spot. So it's important to, for example, if there's a red check of both sheriffs, that all players vote together with him, because assuming that player already makes a mistake and votes for red players, then the mafia already won. But if that player votes correctly, but then a different red player says, no, you know what, I'm right, and this player's mafia is actually voting for red, then even though the red players voted for black player, mafia can still join their hand with a mistaken red player and win the game because of that. So it's important to vote together with a single player, to vote together in critical round and between 2 players, and not all players as much players available like in 9 players. So for example, there's like if like 1 is a sheriff who checked player number 2 as black, and 3 is a sheriff who checked number 4 as black, then the vote is between 2 and 4, and like no between 1 and maybe 5 with mafia with one of the teams. Like it's only 2 and 4, and all votes should be together, or like, unless you of course like a black in the other version. Yeah. One thing you should remember in critical round and rounds afterwards is that you should vote by teams and not by individual players. What do you mean by that? Like a lot of players oftentimes, like usually pretty natural, like when let's say that 1 is checked 7 black and 6 is checked 2 black, like both sheriffs 1 6, and people are saying, okay, well, who do I find blacker, 2 or 7? But that's a mistake, because 2 and 7, if they're mafia as a team. It's like maybe 1, 2, and 3, one group of mafia, and 5, 6, 7, the other two group possible mafia. You need to consider not between 7 and 2 who's black here, to consider 1, 2, and 3. Or do they look as a black group together? Or 1, 2, 3, do they look as a red group together? How about 5, 6, and 7? Do they look like a black group together or a red group together? So it's really important to try to like understand the teams of each version, and to vote and to consider that. And obviously, if like one version is not in critical round, you should most likely vote out the version which is not losing, right? If, for example, 9 players 1 checked player number 9 was black and 9 left the table, and then player number 2 checked 8 was black, then you should probably do the balance to give the game as long as possible. Like Job said, time is our big tool. The longer the game happens, red players play more red and black players play more black. So the longer we keep the game going, the more chances, like Drop says, we have for Mafia to make mistakes and for red players to speak better suddenly. And always try to understand like which team are you going to lose to, right? Because suppose you make the wrong vote, then what is the team you're losing to? And are you do you find that team acceptable to lose to, based on how they played and how other players played, and so on, etc. And I want to skip 5 players for now because I don't think I have much to say about it. And let's keep straight to the guess. Like, let's say we voted out the players in 9 round, in 7 and 5, and we're now in the guess where there's just last 3 players remaining in the table, which is probably the harder. By now, the sheriff has been long gone, and we have no checks and no whatsoever, and we need to decide like in a 1 to 3 shot or like 50-50 if we get to choose between the 2 remaining players. Who do we choose to vote out? So there's a few things we need to try to keep in mind. First of all, if there's a player who try to remember the votes in 9 players, in 7 players, in 5 players, is there a player who for sure voted for Mafia? For example, let's say that like you're sitting as player number 3 in the guess, and you're confirmed red even, and you have needed to choose between 1 and 2. And you remember that in 9 players, players number 2, 7, and 8 voted out to player number 9, and 9 left the table. Like 3 votes was enough to vote him out of the table. And you now understand, after the game continued, that 9 left as a black player. Then 2 is almost for sure red, because he had vote. He could have, if his Mafia, vote another player who's red and probably win the game by now, but he uses vote in 9 players to remove a Mafia from the game. So 2 is almost always a red player, and you should, in 95% of the games, and you should probably vote out 1. Some other things to consider could be like the wheels. I think like if you ever played online, you've probably heard wheels a lot. Like players saying, listen to the wheels, listen to the wheels. What do we mean by that, and why do you think it's so important? Like Job said, remember that Mafia is like not shooting randomly. They're shooting players who are red at the table, who are in the right direction, and like there's a joke that like playing a civilian is like the 27 Club of musicians. Like the good doesn't survive. So that's the same thing in Mafia, right? The great players are shot, and the Mafia keeps the players who they think will vote together with them. So when you have a will, it's basically a player who is a confirmed red, and the Mafia choose to remove them out of the table and keep you in the table. And usually there's a reason to that. If you're sitting at the table, thinking that player number 2 is civilian, when all the players before you who the Mafia shot at night think that 2 is Mafia, there's a reason, probably most likely, that the Mafia chose to keep you in the table and not kill you and let some other player decide, because they think that you're the one who will vote with them against 1. Like Job said, round 0 is also really important, right? Because this is like the basis of the game. You can think of it like the building blocks of a stage. And like if you have like a player who at round 0 like thought like, I think that said that 4, 5, 6 are red players, and now he thinks that like 4, 5, 6 are 3 Mafias, like that's not a really cohesive thought process, right? Because like it's a thought process that like changes from flips from the beginning of the game, and Mafia usually tends to do that because they don't think, they know the colors. They try to say whatever will give them the most votes and will remove 2 red players. So if you have a player who's like playing the opposite of how he played in round 0, you should probably vote him out. Like even if he's red, you can lose this game. Like they can lose this game and like figure out what they did wrong. But most likely it's a black player who's trying to do whatever suits them at the moment. Yeah, I think that's enough information for now for like to cover the whole game. And we'll now give a stage to Free to give us some tips and tricks on how to find winning colors of our players, and then we will do some Q&A.
Hello, everyone. I'm Free. I'm from Nightfall as well, Tel Aviv, Israel. I'm playing for around 5 years. And I wanted to speak about some subject that not everyone agree or disagree about, but I found as my perspective that helping winning the games and helping to play better for the long term. Okay, the first one is something called reveal card, or in how they say it in Russia, carton. I'm sure that some of you heard this subject. This subject mean when someone, first of all, there is not really such a thing reveal card. Like you can't really reveal your color. You're not allowed to show who you are, right? And in real life, you can't even do it. So there is not really such a thing like this. But there is something close to it, okay? In the high level, when you play with the same people for a long time, you can find some clues, that some little details that they do when they are red. Usually, you can find those clues as well that they are do when they are black, okay? So what I'm doing for the long term is to, when I know people, okay, not in the first game with them or the second or even the 10 game with them, like in 20 plus game with them. When I start really knowing them, I look for the small things, small details, okay? It can happen in the first game with them, but when you don't know them for sure, then you can't count on it, okay? So the little small details are like they are saying a sentence in a way, okay? Their volume, the sound of their speaking change a little bit for the better or the worst, okay? Those things you can find as a red or as a black. But when you start know people and you start notice these little things, it can help you decide about colors. Also, when people say he played differently than last game, a lot of people say that. You know that sentence. So this sentence help as well. If you played with a person a few games in a row, okay, and they got black, 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 suddenly they got a red card, you can notice most likely something changed about them, okay? You can even with smile, with things they say, how they speak, when they speak, things can change, okay, for the better or the worst. So what I suggest, look out for these little details, not at the beginning when you start playing with them, but for the long term, when you start knowing people, look for those small things. They will be there. They will be there waiting for you, and they will help you get the colors right. Okay, it's not something you should always do, and it's not something for certain. Okay, it's something you need to notice about yourself, how you feel about those things, about other people. Okay, it can change, it can work, and it can even sometimes not work, but it can help you. The second subject that in the end they will be connected is playing the right game. Okay, playing the right game that will help you win a lot for the long term. What does that mean? Sometimes, we are all humans. We can do mistakes. Sometimes the mafia play better than civilian. It happened, okay? Not always civilian play the best. Sometimes mafia did it, okay? We are all humans and we can play good and not good. You don't need to be angry about your friends, okay? You need to understand the game and play so for the long term, you will win. Don't play conspiracy. A lot of people like this word, conspiracy. Try play as less as conspiracy as you can. If someone came as a sheriff in the right time, gave good checks that everyone asked, explained, gave a good options of mafia group, okay? The wheel are playing with him. The wheel left him is the sheriff. Even if you feel inside, oh, he's mafia, for the long term, you should play with him and vote with him, okay? Even if for this game you will lose, it can happen. But always think for the long term. Always think as how can you play mafia better. If he did everything right, everyone believe him, everyone with him, everything, you should vote with him. Most likely he will be the sheriff. I'm talking about the worst case scenario, so we could learn how to play better for the long term. Most likely, if all the will with him, he played good, he revealed the time, he's the sheriff and you're going to win. But even if he's not, and you lost, but you lost because he played better, it's good. Okay, it's good, and for the long term you will win more. Even statistically, you can look at it and really see when everyone leave a will on someone that is the sheriff, when he's bringing the most reliable version, and you play with him and you win. You can see statistically most of the time you will win when you play with him and not conspiracy against him because XYZ. So those two subjects are leading together. Why? Because you can connect them in some situations. Okay, what do I mean by that? I mean that at the end of the game, okay, everyone had a card, red, black, they had the card, they had the game they need to play in. Okay, the mafia, the red have advantage on the mafia. They speak from their heart, truth, only truth. They don't lie. Red players, mafia lie. They must. If they don't lie, there will be no game, right? So red player should find those little lies that are laying there and take it for their advantage. Okay? The lies are there. You just need to figure them out. Not always you will find the best winning argument, but most of the games, if you listen carefully, the mafia will try to explain something they must, okay, because they want to play this version to win and hide, but they explain it not 100% truly. They will put some lies there and some things that will not make sense. Look out for them. Look out for the truth that red player give, and look out for the mafia player that lie. Look out for the small things. It will help you find the red and the black. Those both situations, both subjects come together. Okay, play better for the long term and not revelation card, but find black and red card with small details. They work together. Okay, when you play better for the long term and you play with a version, the player who did good, you will find probably the small red things there in the right version, and you will probably find the black things, the small details in the black versions, most likely. So if you combine both together, most likely you will win most of the games. Okay, and even if you lose some games because the mafia played better, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, if you want to become, look, statistically a mafia and civilian win 50-50. This is the statistic of everything in mafia for long term. So you can't win everything. If you're a good player and you will help your team, you will have more than 50%. And if you're not the best player and you will learn to be, you will have less, and in time you will have more. But don't try to be the hero. Don't try to be the one who knows everything, who is the best one. Try to play right. Try to play good, and you will win so much more games with that strategy. So that's everything I had to give from my personal view. It's not what I told you guys. It's not something you must play like. It's not rules. It's something that I learned the hard way with my experience of how to win more games with that view. Okay, so everyone should take it to their personal place. Okay, everyone should play the game as how they see it at the end of the game. You can't always find everything like I find and like Dusher find and like Drop find. Okay, everyone has their personal opinion and personal view, and sometimes you have different view than others. Okay, it's fine. Try to play safe, and for the long term, find a little special things about yourself that help you find the colors better. Thank you.
I just want to add on that because I think about the losing part, because the game that we try to put forward as of Mafia is like that game of sports, right? Like soccer or chess or whatever, or football or whatever. And in any kind of sports or any kind of game, you're going to lose, and you're going to lose a lot going forward. And there's a lot of games that you're going to lose, which is out of your control. Like as a red player, like one of the downsides of a red card is that some games you just can't win. Mafia can turn around every game, and civilians sometimes can't, and that's okay. And I think one thing that both helps you to get over it, as well as to like make decisions, is during the game, try to ask yourself, okay, to which team do I prefer? Like, to which team do I prefer to lose, given that I'm going to choose wrong? If I'm now voting wrong and now I'm going to lose, to which team do I rather give a victory to? And I'm going to leave it peacefully, because again, we're going to lose, and we're going to have to accept it. And the more easy for us it will be to accept it, the more better decisions we'll make in return. We'll now answer some Q&As. We want to answer some questions that you gave us before. And if we have time, maybe we can get some other questions from the audience as well. But
Wait, Dusha, I think the Drop wanted to say something.
Yeah. Just before I start with the questions, I want to add one more thing. In order to play a red card better, you also need to understand how to play a black card better, because Mafia have motivations. The difference between a red player and a black player is that Mafias have hidden motivations within the game. If you can identify how to play a good black player, like how a good black player plays, you can find these patterns while you're a red player. For example, a black player who is playing very hard in one version and then um, starts to try to hide won't be successful. It's a very good example of a player that might be completely wrong, might completely play with the Don, but you might be able to still find him red just because when you turn around, it's usually you need to find motivations. If you don't find a motivation for an action a player does, if you can't logically understand why a player does something or what he has to gain from it, then it's usually just a red player that is confused or is trying to think or figure stuff out. With that being said, I'll go over to some questions. Should I list who asked the question? Yes. Okay, so we have two questions from Lisa. The first one: let's say you're a red player asking for a check of a certain player in zero. In the next round, a player reveals to you with an alleged black check on that player. Is it beneficial to reveal as a sheriff with the black check on that player or yourself? Um, I would recommend, yes, do that. If you're in 9 players, there's no harm in doing that if you don't meet any resistance. Once another sheriff comes out, you can you can unreveal yourself, or if there's contra, like if there's any meaningful opposition in the game, you don't want to have a situation where you reveal for the Don, but the sheriff is he gave up on checking you because he thought you're the real sheriff. Make sure that before you go into the night of 7 players, you the table knows that you're not sheriff. You give the opposite sheriff that you didn't reveal for an opportunity to check you. You want to give him an opportunity to give you as a check. Um, thus, because if not, you might be revealing for Don, and the sheriff might just play against you, and you'll play against him in return. So I would recommend do revealing, but remember to unreveal before the night. The second question: is it beneficial to do a split of two players in 8 players, for example, or is it better to save the equal number of players once you're 6 or 4 players? Um, so this is a good question because I would say you should never split 2 players in 8 players or 2 players in 6 players. These two splits are really, really, really bad for town because even if they have one red player and one black player in them, it's very hard to construct the split such that there's no break available from the mafia. Because the teams are not closed, because you don't know everyone, there could be still a black player hiding inside the red team that you haven't found. In 8 players, I would recommend either split 4 players or don't split at all. A split of 4 players is very important. It's very beneficial. It's mathematically increases the odds of red players to win, and it is a tool that you must master in order to master the red card. But I would never suggest to do a split of 2 players in 8 players or 2 players in 6 players unless you know for sure that you're not in a critical round. And that is a very rare scenario. In 6 players, you can split 3 players, and it's a better split than of 2 players because if you have one version, it's just a better split. I don't want to get too far deep into the splits analysis because I can rant on it for hours. Um, Next up, we have a question for Dantes. A very good question, I would say. If I'm a red player who gets shot at night by the mafia, what are the key things I should include in my will to help the town, especially if I'm unsure who the sheriff is? So, I want to jump forward to if you're unsure. If you're unsure who the sheriff is, make sure to tell the town who you think are the red players that you found. For example, you don't know who the real sheriff is. You're entering critical round, but you found player 4, for example, very red. Just say, I think 4 is red. You should vote with player number 4, because in critical rounds, all red players need to vote together. So the most important thing in your rule is to leave the reddest player for you, I would say. The one color that you're most sure of. One color that you're most sure of, then you can add some secondary colors to it. If you think you know who the sheriff is, you can also leave that in the will. That is also a very important piece. Like leaving the town, which version you think you believe more, is very important. And the last thing you should do is provide arguments for why you gave those things. Because sometimes if you don't explain why you left someone as sheriff or why you left someone as red, people will forget your will or just decide to ignore it because they don't understand the logic behind you. Even though you're confirmed red, you can still be mistaken. So explaining your logic and making sure the other players can follow through your logic is very important to you.
I would like to add on that, if it's okay with you, that you should always try to, like, about questions of what to do with when you're killed. You should, before you're killed, like, you should always try to use the nighttime as time to thought, to think. Like in round 0, after the first game, like after the first day, like imagine you're going to be shot at night by the mafia. Then what is the free mafia which you're going to put in the best move? Or during the game afterwards, try to use the time to think, because a lot of players, like the beginning of the experience, like the playing, and then there's come nights, and they're like, oh, maybe tomorrow I'll go to a walk with my dog, and then after that I'll drink coffee with that person, and then like. Player number 9, you were shot. Name of free mafias. I don't know. So try to use that time of overnight to think about arguments, to think about what happened to the game, to use the quietness, like now you don't have people screaming at you and gesturing the rock paper scissors at you, and you can try to think for yourself, like in a quiet space with your eyes closed, and use that time to think and analyze what happened in the game. So you'll have better arguments and you'll be better prepared to when the morning comes and you might be announced dead and you need to leave a will, which is the last of the game.
One last thing before I pass to Dusher to answer the rest of the questions. If you're shot at night, try to understand why did you get shot. There's 2 possibilities for that. Sometimes you got shot because Mafia wanted you to leave a will in their favor. That could be a possibility. The other possibility is that you're just correct you're very correct. And if you're very correct, then you make sure to enhance on that, to add on that. Try to identify the difference between them. If you were shot because you're a very unsure player, it might be because there is a red player that is playing within the Mafia team and they don't want to get rid of him. There's many options. It's very dependent on the situation. But if you died, there is a reason for that. So you need to make sure you understand. You at least try to process it while you give your will and think of it and consider it when you give your will. It might be a reason to turn 180, and it might be a reason to push harder on what you thought before. It's a very important thing to think about.
Okay, so we have a couple of questions about balance, and one of them is basically like wondering if there will be an explanation about balance. So I've had like I don't know how people are here, but I think decent explanation about balance can be beneficial to most players, because it's always helpful. It's one of the best tools we have as civilians, especially at the beginning stages of the game, first years playing. And the reason is because, like I said earlier, like the longer we have time playing the game, the more time you have to think, and the more time the black players have to make mistakes. So the thing about balance, or what balance is by definition, is when we have 2 versions and we're not in critical round, we can vote a black version of each player, of each sheriff, one by one. Thus, we're guaranteed to go into 5 players. and we guarantee to be in a critical round in all versions in that time, but we get more time to think, we get more times for the sheriffs to make checks, and we get much more information because of that. So it's important to distinguish that balance is like for definitive black in both versions. So for example, like if let's say I now eliminate 3 and he goes, you know what, Dusher is my balance, I don't care anything, I don't care. Like this is like maybe a use of a term in a way that 3 says like if you believe that I'm red, I'm willing to sign that Dusher is black, and you should balance on him. But it's not a balance for sure. Like I'm not the balance for 3 mathematically. Like for that to happen, like I need to be a black check of 3 sheriff, or maybe the sheriff would check 3 black, and maybe his sheriff doesn't have a black check. But we need to make sure that we vote 1 mafia from each team. That is the definition of balance. Yeah. So based on that, we have some questions. For example,
I have a question.
yes.
Okay, so if we are in a table and we know for sure that between 2 people there was 1 mafia, both of the people left the table and they are both attacked the same person. Should we think the person is more red or more black? Because you understand the question.
Yes. So it's an interesting question. I think it really depends on the game, right? Because like so it can actually mean both ways, right? Because you can say like you can twist it into like well, for sure, a red player played against a player, so it would be suspicious. But you can also like, well, a black player also already played against that player. So like it really depends on the context of the game and how much each player tried to lift that player. If they both played aggressively and tried to eliminate him, then maybe like probably a mafia tried to eliminate a red player, so we should probably avoid it. If it's like usually I tend to see that like if there are players in opposing teams who say the same thing, then the thing is usually correct. Like you don't get a mafia who's playing against his own mafia with a red player playing against that mafia. So it's more likely it would be the other way around. Cool. So Darshana, I hope I didn't butcher that name. Sorry if I did. Asks some questions. So first of all, like when there are 2 versions of sheriff, should we play balance? Example, let's say sheriff 1's red check is killed. Should we eliminate the red check provided by sheriff 2? So yeah. So we should definitely not. So in a general rule as a mafia, like if you have a red player who is a red check of a sheriff, and you don't believe that player is red, you should never vote him out before the sheriff who checked him red, because like in every version where that player is like not red, i.e. black, this means that the sheriff who checked him is also not the sheriff. That player, however, can like give a false check, like you don't know, given that other players is the Don, that doesn't give you anything about the player who checked red. Like it might be a mafia is trying to protect, it might be a red he's trying to buy or get with him. But in any way, in every version, that the red check is black, that sheriff who checked him is also black, but it's not vice versa. It's not it's a two-way street. So you should always vote the sheriff before that, and maybe you give the check time to get shot at night, or maybe to speak better. And if you still don't find him red, then you can vote him out afterwards. But let's say like you have 2 sheriffs and one sheriff's red check was killed. It still doesn't mean anything about which sheriff is real. It could be Don who checked a red player and then killed him at night. It could be a sheriff, but Don tried to buy a red player. So you should never vote out the red check of a sheriff before the sheriff itself. I hope it answers questions. Okay. And we have another question. When is it risky to play balance to eliminate players? Which is a fair question. Like so far, we said like balance is a good thing, but let's look at a scenario where balance might be not the best tool. Like suppose you have two sheriffs. You have one is a sheriff who says that 9 is a red check, and you have 2 is a sheriff who says 9 is a black check. Like on this, both checks on the same player. One is red, one is black. One, like you might say, like, oh, let's do the balance, right? Let's vote out player number 9 and then vote out player number 2 who checked in black. But a very convenient strategy for mafia is like to do exactly that, like to find the red check of the sheriff in 9 players and reveal on the black check with him. Because let's say you do that, Khan says, oh, I don't know what to do, let's do balance. You vote out 9 and 7 votes, and then player number 2 says, I give up, I am mafia, we shoot 1. Okay, so great, we found out that 1 is the sheriff, but then what? We already lost a red player because he's a red check of 1. 1 is most likely going to check another player, and even if it checks a black player, there's still the third mafia hiding with no information, with all the votes voting the same thing, and it's going to be really hard for the town to find the last 1 or 2 mafias based on the check. And if sheriff checks red, then like you shoot a sheriff. Afterwards, you shoot the red player, and then you have 5 players and no information, 0 information. So with 2 mafias on the table, this is almost guaranteed mafia win. So if you have
But following that scenario, if you have a sheriff with a red check and the sheriff died, and you only have the red check and you know they're going to die at night, is it better to balance on the opposite sheriff if he revealed?
But he conceded, right? Like you voted out for 9 players, right? Then 2 said, I give up. Or even not give up, like he even not give up, just
No,
shot
he
1.
the sheriff got shot first round. He said that the sheriff he has a red check and someone else revealed with another red check. Is it better to take out the sheriff?
So I'll get to that in a minute. It's a good question, but we'll get to that in a minute when we finish the explanation about that. I think it's a good question. No, I'm just going to answer it. I think the answer was sufficient. So generally, like the living sheriff is by default, the dead sheriff is a sheriff. There's a saying in our club: a good sheriff is a dead sheriff. Like a good sheriff needs to make some checks and to die at night and be believable, and to help gain as much information as he can, then die and be a reliable source to the town. If there's another sheriff and like he want to try to claim that it's a Don who killed himself, then he needs to give you the arguments why he's the sheriff and to do that. Anyways, you always vote out the sheriff before his red checks, and you always, like I said before, and generally you don't have to vote the sheriff out if you're not in a critical round. But if you don't believe him and like you have a dead sheriff at 9 players, you should probably vote him out in 9 players. And like you'll be fine. Yes. So some other questions we have here.
I think let's move on to questions from like the live chat or for people over here in the room.
I have another question I want to answer before that, if it's okay with you, by Ayan. How do you convince town that a black player left as a red by strong red in the will is not necessarily red? So like, let's say you're on the table and player number 5 is shot, and he says, I think that player number 1 is red, you vote together with player number 1. And you think that player number 1 is actually mafia. And so how do you convince the town to do that? So if you go back to what we said about wills in the lecture, so you can remember that like wills are what red players who are not in the table think. And like you have a power to vote, they don't. So what I like to do as a red player is like use the wills as like a default. Like if player number 5 said player number 3 is more red, then by default, player number 3 is more red of the table. if I have, and the stronger arguments I have to it, the more I have to work to play against the default. But if the only argument that 3 has for I is red is because 5 left him as a wheel. But I can say, guys, player number 3 voted for 9, who now we know is red. And for my version, like there's only one player black between 2, 4, and 9, so 3 has to be the other mafia, and I'm red because XYZ. Like, the more arguments you give, the more you can ignore the wheels. Like the wheels are default; they're not the Bible. You can do you can ignore it, and God will not smite you. If you have enough arguments. I hope that's fine. I didn't just get cancelled now.
I have a quick question, which comes again for something that happens to me a lot. Let's say that you're a red player, okay? But there's a lot of suspicion on you, and you're about to get eliminated. So obviously I guess my question is twofold. First, what are the tools that you have as you're all very good, strong red players to convince the town that you are, even though most of the town suspects you, you are not the mafia, and you should not be eliminated, because then we're more likely to lose or to reach a critical round. And second, who should I suspect from the people that suspect me? Because obviously more than 3 people suspect me as red. How can I know it's a big question, so we can maybe recall different scenarios, different situations. Who from the, let's say, 4 or 5 people suspect me and they ended up eliminating me? I didn't convince. I need to leave a strong will, maybe to get some additional points or to lead the town towards victory in the critical run. Who from the players that suspected me and eliminated me and voted against me, let's say 4 or 5 players, I should suspect more likely to be mafia, and who I should suspect are more likely to be civilians, mistaken civilians?
Okay, I would like to answer it. First of all, for the first question, what can you do? Sometimes you can't do much. Sometimes you need to understand you are out. Okay, it happened, unfortunately. But what I like to do, I have an opinion about who is red and who is black when I'm red, right? I'm trying to go back for my friends, the people who I think are red, the people who called me red, the people who try to help me, even if they are some kind of my enemy. Like at round 0, someone called you red, most likely. You can come back to them. Why do you sus me now? What changed? Okay, what changed? You can try, ask for help. If they are mafia, they will throw you under the bus, and that way you can understand it. If they are red, they will think, maybe one of them will throw a rope for you for help. Maybe you will take a foul and say, like, player number 4, you called me red all game. We played together. What happened? 5 is mafia, and he can tell, I think you're still red. Let's if you're 6, let's stay. He can help you. If he's red and he still find you red and understand the foul you took, he can help you. This is one thing you can do. The other things you can do as red and try to stay is found someone more sus than you. Okay, or like in between 2 players there is one mafia and one of them is out. Tell, okay guys, he said his balance is this person, leave me alone. This person is his balance. Or maybe someone else is even more sus than you, like player number 2 spoke badly, everyone called him at round 0 mafia. You can take a foul. Guys, I'm red. What about player number 2? Everyone called him mafia. He didn't spoke now. Listen to him. Maybe remove him. Try to make someone more sus than you. Okay. If you failed and you're out, and it can happen, what you can do, in my opinion, is to help the most is, first of all, leave some colors. You not only need to leave black colors, you can also leave red colors. You can say, okay, guys, I'm red. You're in critical or whatever. For me, 5, although we voted for me, I think it's very red because 1, 2, 3, 4. For me, if I need to choose the sheriff, 7 is more my sheriff. He didn't want me out. He voted me only because everyone voted. Or you can say something that will help you. About black, you can find them. It's depend the situation, right? If everyone is sus you because you didn't spoke well and you said something not good, so maybe it's hard to find the black. But as I said, if you're searching for a rope, most likely the black will not give it to you if you're the most sus. They will throw you. But the red might. So if you tried to get some help and some people help you, and some people say, no, you're mafia, don't talk to me. There you can find with more mafia, and you can leave a good will. And try to give the colors you are searching on your wheel. Don't say 7-5 red, 10 is black, 4 wheel 3. I don't know there. Try to give some colors, but make them more right and correct, and it will help civilian understand later on you left as red, and they will listen to your will. Sometimes even mathematically, in both versions you are red. Suddenly you remove the night player. Next round, both sheriffs. 5 is red. 5 is red. I don't know why you removed him. So they will listen to your will. Your will is very important. So even if you're out, you can still help them in your last minute. So do your best. I hope this answers.
I would like to also answer the questions, and then I'll give a mic to Laukita to ask your questions. So yes, two things. So first of all, like, what do you do when you're sus? Like Free said, like sometimes there's not much, but what you should do is try to minimize your opponents. Like you're a sus, and the more players you're going to sus back, like they're not like you basically guarantee their vote on you, whether they're red or black. So you should try to like choose maybe one or maybe two players like you sus, but ideally like one, which you say is you tell the town guys you vote between me and him, me and them, and try to expect to attack them, because if town votes you out, that's 100% a red player gone. If town votes them out, you have a positive, you have a less than 1 probability to remove a red player. So that's one thing you should do. And you asked how do you find which players to attack more? There's an interesting phenomenon that happens in the game, and sometimes, red players like obviously make mistakes, and they can say some they can give some stupid mistakes to why they suspect you. The most suspicious players are the players who are backing up. Backing up the players who making the stupid claims. So like if like player number 3 says, I suspect Dusher because he picked his nose and I think it's suspicious. And then Drop says, 3, that's exactly what I thought. I go with you, I vote to Dusher. Then my vote should probably go to Drop because he's backing up some stupid claims because he wants to buy votes of red players against red players. And the last thing I would add is that if you were voted out and the game doesn't continue, doesn't end, which means that all the players who were voted out before you are mafias, you need to use that last minute to help the town to understand why you left red and everyone else before you left as black. Like even if you left and they voted you out, like Free said, they can understand you're red later, but they need your help to understand that you left red. Otherwise, they're just going to assume you're black and play against the Dawn version. Yes, Laukita.
Okay, thanks. I have a question. Sometimes that happened to me. I'm red, but sometimes I'm nervous. So people think I'm more in the gray zone. They don't guess what colors if I red or black, but they are more like perhaps you are more black. But even I'm red, but I'm very nervous. There is a way, or there is a. Do you remember at the beginning? I don't know if or Free, that they say you have to look for this kind of detail that they are gonna say this people is more red or is more black in this game. So there is some way that I will say something that the people think, and now I'm red. They take me out of the gray zone and they say, okay, now I think you are red, nor black. There is something I should say, or there is a way in order to reverse that opinion.
Yes, in my
from the other ones.
In my opinion, it's a good question. In my opinion, it can. First of all, it happens for everyone. Even if you're experienced, sometimes you get excited. It's okay, but you need to explain. That's all you need to do. If you're red, okay, and you're nervous, you have an explanation why something happened. Maybe you're just exciting about the new game. Maybe it's something personal outside of the game. Try to explain them why. Try to understand that they think you're black because you're nervous. And when you understand it, try to explain them simply why. It happened to me so many times for no reason at all. Like even if I'm tired sometimes or something, I add it in my minute. I said, even if before they sass me, and I spoke, and at the end of the minute I think I spoke nervous. Sometimes I understand myself even. I said I'm nervous because I'm a little bit tired. I need to wake up tomorrow morning early, so that's why I spoke like this. And some people say, oh, okay, now the person after me said, I wanted to blacken you, but because of the end of your minute, I understand why that happened, and you're red. Try to explain them, try to give them the reasoning why. Even if you don't have any reasoning why, and it just happened, tell them that. Be honest. Red don't lie, black does. Okay? Black will have tough times with that. Okay? They will try to fake the reasoning. You don't need to fake it. It's honesty. And when you say the truth, they will understand it's truth. Okay? They will understand it from how you say it. Just explain it. I think most scenarios you will be fine.
I want to add to the previous question. There's two main things that I like to do when I'm being attacked. When I'm being attacked by many people. First of all, is to think back on your minute and judge it for yourself. Think for like go back for yourself in your head. Like, do I think what would I say if I heard my minute? Sometimes I find people very red because they attack me on what I thought was weak in my minute. For example, if I ended my minute weaker and somebody says, I liked your minute until the end, I might find that player more red because he gave the same critique that I gave to myself. So it's not a black player exploiting something and making it bigger. He actually took what I found wrong in my minute and also talked about it. Second thing is, usually the player that goes hardest against you is not always the black player. Um, what do I mean by that? Uh, Lately, I've found it very useful to think that sometimes a player that attacks you with a lot of excitement and passion in their voice might be a red player that is just excited that they think they caught a black. They threw their hook into into the sea, and they caught you, and they think they caught a black, but you're actually red. Sometimes you can find this in the person that is attacking you the hardest. The person that attacks you the hardest might be just convinced that he found a black player. If it's in a tournament, he might be secretly motivated by additional points or something like that. That I think if he will push harder, he will get more points and stuff like that. You can usually find it. You can usually find it because if so, in that player. And the second thing really is just to think back on what did you think your minute lacked. If I didn't explain about a certain someone and somebody said that, if you think somebody attacked you the right amount, it's usually also a very red thing because I myself also attack red players sometimes. None of us have 100% accuracy, and red players will attack you. It's very important to try to differentiate between a red player attacking you and a black player attacking you. Any more questions?
I have one. What if you have a game where the black players are playing against each other? At least, assumingly, they will vote to get in critical, but they play against one another. How can you tell if they're in the same group or not, or if they're faking their dynamics? Is there a way to do that, or you can't do that if they're just attacking each other from the beginning of the game?
Mostly lies, I would say. If you can't know everything, okay? You can't always know black play each other or with each other. I, as a black, do both. I can play with one black hard and attack my friend. Um, just, I think what you could do is try to search for the lies, things that doesn't make sense. Black lies and they lie a lot. Okay, if we attack someone with explanation that does not make sense, but it's only because it will be making more red, something sus there. How can you find that the other person is black and they play against each other? He could lie too. Um, Most likely, you will not find that they played against other mafia. It's very rare. I found one game that I think it's a good explanation. One game that someone at 9 player, I think it was drop. He attacked, yes, I think it was drop. He attacked player number 1 all minute. He gave amazing argument why 1 is mafia. Amazing. I must say, amazing, so good, nobody gave before him. He was player number 9, he attacked player number 1 with amazing argument. And I told myself, he spent a whole minute attacking that player. And he gave good explanation. I think that player is mafia. He gave good explanation. I think he's mafia too. And he's trying to gain credit. I was right. But I think it's one of the only times in 5 years I found black on black for sure. For sure. It's very rare and tough to find it. Don't search for it. Search for the lies between them. Find the black. If you find the lie in the other side as well, you can find another one. Or, like I explained, he attacked him so hard, and only him, maybe he knows something and he wants to gain credibility for it.
So
yeah.
I would like to give another take on that, and because like you said, in most games, like 99.99% of the games, mafias are not going to vote each other out in a critical manner. What I mean by that, it's like if, for example, like we have a vote splitting, and like even if Drop and I are mafia together, and we might say like, I think Drop is mafia for sure, I'm going to vote for him, and Drop says, I think Dusher is mafia for sure, I'm going to vote for him. Like you won't see actual voting for us together to vote each other out if it will mean that one of us will go out. It might be like just 4 out of vote, like each of us will vote alone for each other and not do much. We might actually vote together. Like there's going to be a lot of stuff which contradicts this so-called aggression towards each other. So that's like 99% of the games, at least. Sometimes, in rare occasions, like Mafia do play against each other, but the first thing you need to know is these games are rare enough, but it's really hard to consider in the long run. Like we're trying to teach you how to win games in the long run and not the specific game we're going to play in the next after this talk. But the main thing you can ask yourself if you're afraid of that is like, okay, how did the player who played against Black understood that player is Black? Because remember that the only players who know colors are mafias. Red players give arguments and try to make a world which they'll be fine losing to. So if you think that mafia, like someone found out mafia and gave convincing arguments and led them, but like you have no idea how they understood that there's mafia, then maybe you can try to think that these two are mafia, black on black.
Nice.
I want to say it's not a question, but regarding the black on black, what I encountered is that usually if it's actually voting out a black, it's right before killing the actual sheriff. It's like blacks want to do it just because it's like because they know that the sheriff is going to go, and they are probably don't want to be investigated and be in the one version.
What you're looking for is motivation. If you find a motivation for a black player to do what, if you find motivation for people to do something as black, then they could be black. They still could be red, but the main way to find someone red is if there's no motivation for them to do that as black. It's somewhat hard to explain, but if usually it's better to find what a player is not. For example, find a player that is not red, or find a player that is not black, in order to find what they actually are. It's usually easier.
I think also and then if a pirate asks its question, so like this is also to like what differentiates a good argument and a bad argument. So basically, a good argument is an argument which you can't reverse. For example, like I can say, guys, Drop is red because if he's mafia, he never shoots Mordred. You can reverse that, of course. You can say, guys, Drop is black because he shot Mordred, so we'll say that he's never shooting Mordred if he's black. Like this is the weak argument. Mafia, like saying like, guys, Drop is red because we know that Mordred is mafia and Drop voted out Mordred. Like this is a really strong argument, but it's going to be hard to in most cases to to reverse and say that he played a clever black and he voted out his own black to gain credibility. Like, it's really much harder to reverse the argument. So question you should ask yourself, like with black on black or whatever, it's like, can I reverse the arguments to why I think it's black on black, or why I think it's actually like, why is it red, or maybe it's black? Like switch the words and see if it makes sense. The words which you disprove is much stronger than words which make sense.
I think Pirate wanted to say something, but I want to use this opportunity to ask maybe one final question before we go to play a game, and we'll stream it. So I'll open a new room for 10 players with the regular rules that we always do. But I also want to hear what Pirate thinks. My final question is, I often get a tip from a very strong player that you should always have a vector of attack, especially when you're red. When you have a red card, you should always attack someone. Okay, you should have someone that you're targeting. Okay, which is part of the very basic fundamental of the game. So first, I want to ask if you agree with this kind of advice that you should always have someone to attack. And second, what do you do when you read, let's say round 0 or the first round of 9 players, and you're really not sure, like you don't suspect anyone. It happens, you read and you listened already to people talk once or twice, 10 or 9 players, and you don't suspect anyone. Everybody you think spoke decently. People have nice positions. You don't suspect anyone. I can't give a whole minute and say everyone are fine. I don't suspect anyone. Do I make artificial arguments like I would do if I was a black player and make something up? Or do I open up with the town and tell them, listen, everyone are fine. I don't suspect anyone. That's gonna get me eliminated. So what? So it's a twofold question. First, do you agree with the argument that you should always have a vector of attack, always attack someone? And second, what do you do when you generally don't suspect anyone? How do you express that to the town? Or how do I still find someone maybe slightly more suspicious than others?
I would say that as for vector of attack, I, as a player, don't always have a vector of attack. Sometimes it's better to have quality colors over quantity of colors. For example, it's better to have less colors that you're very sure of than more colors that you're unsure of. And I would say that some players, you need to find what you're better at. Some players are better at finding red players, and some players are better at identifying black players. If you don't have a vector of attack, you're still fine. Find your friends, like Free said. Find who the players you think are redder. Even if you don't find that many blacks, find 1 or 2 players that you think, out of all these players, I don't know who the mafia is, but I think these 2 are the reddest players for me, and vote with them. So you don't always need to be the hero. You don't need to solve the game all the time. Sometimes it's better to just listen to wills. You also have wills with you. If you don't know anything, the will is an opinion of a confirmed red player. If you don't have an opinion of your own, you can always just take the opinion of the last red player killed, or the majority of red players killed, and find yourself a friend to vote with. Find yourself the red player that you think you should vote with, because sometimes teams are uncleared, sometimes mafia split up, sometimes they play together, sometimes against each other. It's very hard to find all 3 mafias. Usually it's easier to find one mafia and just 1 or 2 friends, and then vote with them.
Also remember, like, to answer both questions, you need to remember there are 3 mafias in the game, which you're going to have to vote out to win the game. So you're going to have to find a way somehow, like Job says. If you're not sure who is the mafia, try to find red players who you're most certain are red, and to vote with them to whoever they think is red. Even if you don't find mafia, like, the more red players you find, the higher chances you're going to have to, by chance, vote out a black player by the remaining players, right? If you find 3 red players for sure, and you have 3, there are 5, you have yourself in 9 players, you have 5 players, 3 of them are mafias, you have a 60% chance, if you all vote together, to vote out a black player. So that can be enough. Yeah.
I want to say something. Pirate, yes, ask a question, but also Everest, Oswin, and Gambit watch everything. And if they have a question, I think it's fair for them to ask in the group. We will answer as well. Pirate, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not exactly in questions, but I thought because you talk about motivation of the mafia and motivation, and if you talk about revealing card, and I do think that sometimes it's important to understand why is the person who's talking to the people he talked. Because I remember I had one game that I actually one sheriff say I'm probably the black in his version, okay, and I understand that I'm obviously in the other version probably, and then the other sheriff talk the whole minutes to a person that I'm sure is red, and I find myself ask, why does he talk to him the whole minute? And then I voted him out. It was the dawn. Okay? So I think it's something that you say also. It's important to understand. I understood that he's trying to buy the person that I thought he's red. Okay? And I voted with the sheriff that thought that I'm probably black. So I think that it's important to understand the motivation, as you said, the mafia. If you said they lie, they need to they need to sell something, and you need to catch what they're trying to sell, even if it's not for you.
Yes,
That's right. Yes.
to add to what you said, the sheriff who attacked you had this reasoning. When
Yeah.
I'm red,
Yeah.
when I'm red, I'm listening to the player who attacked me. Sometimes those who attacked me the most, as Drop said, they are red excited with something they think is good. It's when it's not. Sometimes the player who I find most red are not the one who said I'm the reddest. They are the one who said I'm the blackest, but with the best explanation. So you need to listen to everyone. You can find red everywhere. And also, you said another very interesting things that yes, sometimes mafia try to buy reds. All they need in most of the games is one hand. In Critica, one hand that will vote with them or will not vote against them and will be counted as black. And that's all they need to win. So yes, you need to listen everything, and you need to understand why they are speaking who they speak, and why they attack who they attack, and what are their reasoning. Mafia will not be able to explain it. Red will be able to explain it good. Yes. Let's see if we have in WhatsApp group. Nobody asked a question in WhatsApp group. Anyone here didn't ask a question? Patrick, Articuno, do you have any question? Don? If no, then we can lead to the game.
I think it will be really nice to play a game and broadcast it. We don't have many games online on YouTube, so this will be a really, really interesting opportunity. And I want to thank again both Moran and who has been putting this whole evening together. She's done an amazing job. Well done. Thank you so much for bringing everyone together. And a special thank to Dusha, Free and Drop that prepared for today and thought what exactly to say and what would be the best possible arguments, what would be the best possible information that will help players both on intermediate and advanced level become better as a red card. It's one of the most difficult topics. When I ask people to do masterclass classes, they usually prefer to talk about how to play as Don, how to play as Mafia, how to play as Sheriff. The red card is, I think, one of the most challenging one, but it's the most common card. And that's why it's important that we explore this topic more and improve, and in a way, by improving, we actually enjoy the game better. By learning the game and becoming better at the game, we are actually having more fun and enjoying ourselves more than when we play without understanding the game to the depths that we can. So thank you so much for sharing everything, and I'm going to open a new lobby, and in a minute or two you can all join and we'll broadcast again. So thank you very much. Thank you.
And thank you, Mordred, for everything, for organization, yeah.
Thanks everyone for coming, joining, and hearing us. And
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Let's have
Thank
some.
you all.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining and passing this lecture and taking it seriously. Proud of all of you.
יפה מאוד. קצת הצלחתי להקשיב אחרי, כאילו, בכל השאלות, כי זה היה כאילו, פשוט הייתי קצת עייף, והיה שאלות לא כל כך מעניינות, כאילו, שכבר ידעתי, אבל כאילו, בכלי היה ממש חמוד.
יופי.
גם פרי, כאילו, דרור, אני אגיד לך כן, יש כאילו כמה דברים שלא הייתי רוצה לקדם, כמו לדוגמה טיעוני, הוא משחק אחרת במשחק קודם, אז הוא אדום סלש שחור, אבל דיברת על זה קצת, וכאילו, זה כן בסדר שיהיה לזה מקום.
שמע, אתה לא יכול להתחמק מזה, ואתה לא יכול להתעלם מזה, וזה תמיד יהיה.
מה זה, שולחן בעברית יהיה לנו?
We're going to have an English game for our viewers.
לא, כולם משחקים בעברית, אנחנו שחקני עברית משחקים בעברית.
It's an English game for public domain.
Speaking English from now. לא, דרור, דבר.
אני עייף, יש מצב שאני לא אשחק, אם יהיו מספיק אנשים אני לא אשחק, אני מעדיף שלא.
יהיו, פשוט זה בסיסמה.
There's going to be enough players, you can leave the table.
מי שנכנס זה כל החכמים שהבינו שזה אותו סיסמה ממקודם.
We can call you if
I will. No, you don't need to call me. I will be watching you.
Why everyone is from Israel?
Playing in Hebrew, yay!
לא, זה משודר אונליין, אנחנו לא משחקים בעברית.
זה משודר?
כן, ברור.
יש שודר.
לא, הוא משודר לייב בזמן שאנחנו משחקים. לא יהיה שודר, משודר, זה לייב סטרים.
זה שודר כבר.
Hello, Patrick.
Streaming.
Alvin, Everest.
Hello.
Feel free to join us.
Hey.
Oh, this is quite daunting.
Panda Elish.
Hey guys, I wanted to mention this game is streamed live. Our judge is going to be Dantes. Is supposed to be here.
There is a judge?
There is a judge.
Oh, nice. How am I doing ready?
Good luck, everyone. Have fun.
You don't. There's a judge. He starts the game.
Okay. Sorry, I'm a bot.
Oh my god.
And
11 out of 10.
Hello. If you want
hey,
to
Dantes.
Oh, Dantes.
Thank you for judging.
So we're streaming live right now.
Free.
Good evening, everyone. How are we all doing? Are we ready to play?
I don't recognize this voice.
Free here?
No, Free.
Here he is. Free, we're waiting for you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Everyone has their cameras on. We're about to play the first game of tonight of Mafia. Everyone ready? We're going to start the game in 3, 2, 1. And everyone is about to receive their roles. And everyone's getting their roles. Good luck, everyone. We start today with player number 1.
Hello, everyone. Ironic being player number 1 because I just talked for like an hour and a half, and I tried to think at night how is the parts where I spoke in the presentation. I looked back at like the video on my second monitor a bit, and I see that every time I spoke, there were some people that had confused looks on their faces. So I might have not given the best talk ever. This is the first time that I've done a masterclass, or even like any lecture on mafia. And I really really felt I really really felt slightly awkward with the confused looks I was getting. Maybe I was getting too ahead of myself and explained stuff too deeply, and or maybe I just used language that people are not familiar with.
If it's
I
your
don't know.
the first lecture, it must be the best.
So I think like the lecture you did was good, like the parts you talked. I don't know about part two, but I think that when you talked good in the lecture. I didn't like your minute now though, because like to me, trying to think like, oh, during the night I watch my video, like, it's like something that easy which you can do as mafia, and like, it's like I didn't sense anything original from your speech. Like it was like, sure, what can I talk about? I don't know what to do. I'll talk about the lecture now. I think I talked. Like you can think about this stuff before the game. You can think about this stuff during the lecture. Like you have enough time to think about which I don't think it's like giving you enough credibility for now. So for me, because of this, I'm not going to take one this now. I think I'm not ready. Okay. So I'm definitely not going to take one now. I was considering listening to you half pitch, but now it'd be harder for me to find you red.
I think he's a red player. Let's start with your lecture was good. Why? Because if he's a black player, he doesn't have enough time to understand the done, watch his lecture, to judge himself, get self criticism, and then decide if he's good, not good, and come here and get emotional. Two, I think you tried a bit hard to darken number 1. He is excited, you can see it on him. You had a great speech, number 1. Not now, I'm talking about your lecture. Now, you are so I can find you red because the fact that. No, I didn't say that. I said that you are red because, as a black player, you are unable to watch your lecture, judge yourself, and think about coordination at the same time. It's impossible. You are men. You can't simultaneously watch, think, coordinate, and then do other stuff in the same time. My apologies. Not happening, dudes. And that's what I.
Well, player number 3, I wonder if he was in fact watching anything over last night. If he were black, then of course he wouldn't be. And it's kind of, I think, quite an easy lie to sustain if he is. It doesn't mean that I'm sure, but think I've got quite a bit of sympathy for player number two's criticism, actually. So for now, I'm playing with player number two because I think his cynicism and suspicion resonates more deeply with me. Player number three, you seem to be trying a little too hard to redden player number one. And player number one, was that absolutely a night thought? I'm not convinced yet, but hey, I can be wrong and I can change my mind. And if I'm honest, I liked your presentation before that. And if I look confused, it's because I usually look confused when I'm playing these games. So.
Yeah, so for me, one is gray and heartwarming at the same time. So I'm biased in favor of everyone who was happy with number one. So by extension, I like 3, possibly 7, 8, and 9, just by the expressions. Maybe I'm wrong. I can change my mind. This is just my first blurb. Therefore, I am not a fan of 2 and 4. I would call them the gloomy team. I could be wrong. They could be lovely chaps. I don't know that. I could be totally wrong and change my mind the next round. And I haven't heard everybody else. So what do I know? I could be completely wrong. So I would enjoy it if someone could explain the split to me. I don't feel like nominating anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll play 2-4, not against one, because I don't know. I found him genuine. I really liked his argument because it's what went through my head when one spoke. Because you could just like say that, you didn't need any time to think about that. And I thought Free's argument about one was really bad because so what if he's a man? It says nothing. I can multitask. I'm a man, and even if he does say something, it's still meaningless about one specifically because one didn't need to multitask. He could have just thought about nothing, coordinated the entire evening, and then still give the same minute at the same time because he didn't need any thought. I felt it was genuine, but he can do it genuinely as a black as well. That's the point of minutes like that. I liked 4 to took 2. It wasn't an easy position. Yeah, 4. No, I think 4 and 2 for now. Based on this table, I found 4 and 2 red, and I'm not against one. I think one is fine.
No, I'm gonna say this. I'm against one. The reason I'm against one is that he's player number one. He's hesitating. He's thinking what to say. It's like talking about the last game. You're talking about the last lecture you're giving. I get it. That's very nice topic. But then you were still thinking when you were looking when you're speaking. I saw you looking up top right, which you're thinking in the moment. That's why I have suspicion on one. Sheriff should check one, but 3 is saying she's playing with one. I have suspicion. My team is 2-4-6 because I like what 2 went against 1. That's why I like 2. And 4 and 6 took that. 5. I have an issue because with you, the reason I have issue, I can find your color. The others won't find your color. I feel you are red. I'm going to put a house on 5 because I think he's independently red. He's from Dublin and I know how he plays. I put my house on 5. He's independently red because he's playing with 7, 8, 9, and I know the reason. I don't have enough time to explain now.
Yeah, another argument against one, I took a fall to say it, I couldn't wait, is you say it's your first lecture, but it's not the best one. If it's the first, it must be the best one yet, you know? So it's like, that was funny for me. Anyway, I like the way for I like the way for said 3 took said 3 rather than 1 too much, and also it's very easy to, you know, after you talk about after I can talk if I now played poker like for 1.5 hours. I can. It's the most easy thing to for me is to give a minute about it. So it's the opposite of what you said. So yeah, 2, 4, 6, and 7. Let's go. It will be amazing if Red will.
Okay, I'm playing with 3, 5, 7, and 8, non-positionally, I know. The reason I thought at first that one is red, but then I thought before the game, one told me he really wants to get a red card, And if he get a red card, I would expect you would mention this, that you are, oh, I was nervous to get a red card. No. Unsuspecting number 6 because the reason I'm saying okay, number 6 is mafia. He doesn't even want to hear my argument. Number 6 is a mafia because he said he's not playing against one, no reason. And if he's playing not against one, why isn't he talking about 5 that played not against one? So number 6 is mafia. I think number 3 is red because I believe that number 3 believed what he thought. Like number 10 said about the tips and tricks, like talking from her heart. That's what I felt. I'm taking 3, 5, 7, and 8.
If it was not on YouTube, 9 will have like what 7 did to 5 for me. But because it is, I will not do it that hard. You build something. I will build on 9. For me, it's 100% red. 100% really. The position is amazing. He found 7 and 8, although they play with Mafia. Red, because what they say, 8 for me, it's for sure. What do you want? Split, yes. Who? 3, okay. 2 to 6, vote for 1. Okay, everyone else, vote for 3. Because one asked, what do you want? Let's continue. 7, I found him red because he found 5 red, and I thought 5 really believed everything he said, and I liked that he spoke about people after him, although he didn't give the right things, but I like that he spoke, and he was correct. 8, what he said about 1, listen to my lecture about small things, he found something very interesting. I wanted to take 1, I took 1 out because of that. So I love that. And 9 took amazing position with so many reds. For me, 4 is more black than 6, playing with only 2, but whatever.
Yeah, fortunately, I don't get voted out and I can still play this game. I want to split with 3 because many people took the position of 2, 4, 6. Like, many people took 2 and 4. So I thought maybe, in there's some people that are correct. So I let 2 go of 2. And I want to split with 3, which many people didn't take. And even 6 added me, like, he didn't play against me into the position of 2 and 4. So I thought that I could hear 3 more. That's what I...
Hello, that's who I'm suspecting. I would wish you will now vote between 1 and 6. 1 didn't say anything in his half a minute. Wait, Dusha, wait. And he only protected why. Wait. Let's do. Oh, no, skip. Okay. He only protected himself and explaining why he split with number 3. And when he finished explaining, he said, "Yeah, that's all I have to say." So he didn't even want to say further. So I'm very suspicious of number 1. Number 2, number 1 said you are not red. Why isn't he want to split with you? He want to hear you. If number 2 is red, I want to also know that number 2 is red. That's it. I think 3 is red. I didn't check for any checks. That's what I think. I think 3 is red and 7 is red.
I'm going to nominate 1, but I'll happy to for have nominations between 3, 5, and 7. Like I suspect 1, 3, 5, and 7. These are my main suspected one, but I'm willing. Like I just think that after the position 2, which is at 4 and 6, like might be, but not like. I think I trust that player number 3 is going to be nominated. And also player number 10, player number 7 with player number 5. So maybe not 5 right now. I'm going to vote 7 before. Why 1? Like the only thing 1 did is like he said that 4 is red and 3 is suspicious. Like that's a good thing that one did, but like he didn't give anything. Like I didn't think it was that original at that time. Like by that time, for me, this was the expected norm to find 4 and 6 red. It's a good thing that 9 was killed because I couldn't have find him red in this game. I thought that 6 was really red.
For me, I think 1 is red because he tried to give in for self-criticism. He thought that I was red, and then he said that number 6 convinced him. So he was able to change their mind. I think that the people that change their minds are mostly red in this game. Now, what do you want? Let me finish talking. Now, I thought at first that people didn't understand it. Number 1 said that he was watching the video during the night. That's why I thought that he was red, because he can't do it while he's coordinating in the first round. That's what I meant in my minute, and maybe I didn't explain it because many people didn't understand that. And that's why I thought it was red. So I think that number 7, I don't know why did you try to save that vote, or why didn't understand the split, what happened there. I didn't like that. You're more experienced enough, and I think that 1 and 6 might be.
What are the rules of that split in round one? Because sometimes I play the game and people get eliminated in round one when the split breaks, and sometimes they don't. And so obviously, one has to look pretty closely at people that deviated from the split in that situation. So that was a concern for me. Player number 3, I think my argument last round was very simple, that player number 1 could easily lie about looking at the video during the night. Simple as that. What was player number 9's main suspicions? If we follow through on the theme of the lecture, who was he suspecting? 6 and 2? 6, 2, 1. 621, yeah, which seems slightly contradictory. Not sure how much weight I should give that, but I'm definitely thinking about it. I hope I've helped.
So it looked, yeah, I'd more likely vote out 7 than 1 for breaking the split. It's suspicious, and I almost never believe what people tell me. So what I have to kind of make a decision on the fly, if I leave it to 7 to have the ability to nominate someone, I don't feel like giving him that much power. So I feel like I am going to nominate someone who I think is black, basically. So who I think is black. And going with what I said in the first round, I feel like 2 is black and 1 is gray. I'm repeating what I said at the front, and everyone who likes 2, I be suspicious of. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. I don't understand why I'm suspected when 7 and 8 both took me, and they're both really, really red. Why did I nominate 5 just now? Because he said nothing. He wasted most of his minutes just saying, yeah, 7 is nominated. Let's see if he still has a house on him. Let's see what happens now. I also suspect 3 because I still didn't get a lot of 4. That means I also suspect 4 now because 4 said nothing during his minute. So I'll just play with 2. I like a check on 10 because 10 was very suspicious to me, building a house on 9 and taking, in my opinion, the worst position ever of 3 and 5, which I just don't get. Explain yourself, please, 3, during your minute. But I have a lot of suspicions. I just don't want to vote. I don't want to vote between 1, 2, and 8. These are my reddest players this round. I want somewhere between 3, 4, 5, and 7. That's what I'd like this round.
Wait, is 10 a check? Are you a red check? Oh, I didn't see that information. I was gonna go against 10 because the reason he said, I asked him, he likes 7, 8, and 9. 9 he built a house on, 9 died. And then I asked him who's his bad, and he said 4 is bad. How is 4 Mafia when he's giving arguments? But this round it wasn't that great. You have to listen to Will sometimes. Also, 9 got said 3 and 7 be red. I broke the split because I thought 5 is not voting for 1. 5 voted very late. That's why 3 and 5 was not voting for 1. I wanted to save the split, not break the split. I know vote on 0 is not on. I saw that even. As a red player, I check that stuff. Who do I think is suspicious? It's between 1 and 6. I'm going to listen to the Will. Why 6? Because now he's taking all of a sudden 1, 2, and 8. That's your red player, 1, 2, and 8, when you were taking 2, 4, and 6. Now you say 7 girls. I think 6 is Mafia. He was attacking 9 mostly. So my suspicion is also there, 1, 2, and 6. Around that lines. And I still give a house to 5 because I know.
Yeah, I wanted to nominate 6, but he gave a pretty good minute. I want to nominate him because 9 and 6 for me wasn't two red player, and 9 is dead, and so 6 should be nominated. I thought about 1, 2, 3 can't be 3 reds, and then the last Mafia should be, if it's between 9 and 6, I thought the Mafia between 7, 10, 5, 4, and 7 is like giving house to 5, so 7 is like very suspicious also, but 4 didn't speak 6 said. So now pretty proud. Let's put, I don't think I will nominate, I will vote to 4, but I nominate him anyway. I don't know. That is a good check. That's
Yes. For me, 4 is red, although he didn't say something special. I don't find 5 that specific red this round. So for me, 5 is a little bit sus. 6 nominating 5 is good. 6 nominated 5, yes. If nobody against me, I can split 3 players, because as it seems, I'm the only one who's any information at the moment. I liked 4 because he liked the wheel. I don't know who is more sus. I thought 7 said nothing new this round, and still putting a house on 5 when 5 is sus, and attacking 6 when 6 is more red. So I thought 7 could be with 5. I don't know if it's that easy, though. He's putting house and he's mafia with him, and again, when 5 attack him, he still put house on him. Maybe it's just wrong and red. Maybe it's 5, 8, and somewhere between 1 and 2. I don't know. Still need to think.
I will nominate you, but I don't know if I vote for you because your minute was really weird for me. You said you liked 6 now, but 6 said that for him 1, 2, and 8 are the reddest. What split? No. Forget split. Forget split. Why not? Just let's do a free vote. More information. It's like it's also better for the game. It's better for the game. What did I say? 6 said that for him 1, 2, and 8 are redder, and you said 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 3 for you are not red, not 3 red plays. Why not just say you suspect 3? Like, why go through this convoluted path to say that you suspect 3 if you like 6 and 6 says 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 are redder for him? So like, why? So that's why I suspected 8. But for now, I don't like the. I think that 4 is red. I don't like players who attack 4. I don't like players who attack 4.
Okay, I'm a red player. I'm gonna say this. I have a theory. 1, 2, 6 could be Mafia because I feel like 3. Okay, maybe who voted against me? 2, 3, 4, 8. 2, 3, 4, and who? I can't remember the last one. 6. Okay, so I think a check should be only on 1 or 2. The check
I
should be
tried to
there.
save you. I tried to split you. How am I?
Yeah, no, because I still didn't like your speech because you're attacking 8 when 6 is saving 8. 10 was the first person to say 4 is black. 10 was the first person to say that. I remember that in round of 0. Now he said 4 is good. Why? Is he sheriff? Or
One
trying to
six
do this?
said 6 is red and vote against the version of 6.
So
When
you
is
should only check 1 and 6. That's the check you should always do to the sheriff. And do I believe 10? I don't know what do I do with 10. I believe there's only one mafia between 1 and 2, but I don't know which one it is. It's more like 1 to be mafia, and 6 is the mafia, definitely, or 4th mafia, one of them.
Okay, I'm happy there's a miss. That's great. Now, what did you try to split with? 8 was strange. I understood that 8 was strange, but 1, why didn't you vote with number 6 if you liked him so much? It was very obvious that he's going to vote 7. 8 voted 1. Because I don't know why he voted 1. Half of his minute was I couldn't hear half of his minute. Okay. He had technical issues. But number 1, the fact that you didn't vote with number 6 is very strange. I still don't get. I voted the Eilish shadow because I didn't understand why he keeps insisting on putting a house on number 5 despite him saying nothing. I didn't understand that. And I couldn't get anything out of number 5, so I didn't like him. I think that 2 is redder.
Okay, so I'm confused now. 10, I'm not the sheriff. So to be clear, and my understanding is that you're claiming that you are number 8. Is that right? Yeah, number 10 is claiming sheriff. Is that it? Any others? Okay, so number 10, and number 8, you're claiming sheriff as well? I'm saying 5 is sheriff. 5 is sheriff. Okay, I see you, number 5. So what are your claim checks, number 5? 2, bad. 6, good. Okay, and number 10, what are your checks? So 4, good. 8, bad. Trying to see it, sorry. Sorry, I don't know, I haven't added much value.
Okay, so yeah, I'm the sheriff. 2 is definitely mafia, vote him out. 6 is definitely civilian. That is confirmed information I have. Therefore, 10 most likely is the Dawn. Who knows about 8? 8 is also claiming to be sheriff, so most likely to mafia. That sort of reddens 4 and 1. So yeah, so this round we definitely vote
I was
out.
asking who is the sheriff, other sheriff, because
10 was claiming to be sheriff, and it looked like 8 was claiming to be sheriff. Well, whatever. So 2 goes out now.
Honestly, I was going to subscribe to 2 times version, but I just don't think 5 can fake that. What happened just now? I don't think it's fakeable. 8 said you're the sheriff 5. He didn't try to reveal as a sheriff. Now I'm not sure. I wanted to vote for 8, but I'm really not sure between 8 and 2 now. Because I found 2 red the entire game. I thought 2 spoke well. Not sure. Not really sure between 2 and 6. I can understand 10's check on 4. You know what? Why did you check 4 on the first round? Yeah, but why? Why did you check 4 on the first round? 6, I played with him. Why didn't you check me? I was suspicious. 786 played with 4. Why?
If I check you red, you remove me. I thought 4 is better.
I'm not sure I would have removed you at that point.
He's claiming to check 3 people now.
Still, why didn't you check 1, 2, 3, one of us instead of 4?
No. The Sheriff 10 can't check player number 4 where 2 or 3 players play with him. Come on. Next, I was not revealing because he's giving me as a black check, so it was funny. So I asking who is sheriff, and I wait and I wait and I wait, and nothing happens. So I say, Five, are you the sheriff? Anyway, seven, two black voted out seven. Now we voted two. It's like a soft balance, you can call it. Because seven might be red, mostly red, and one it's a mistake. I didn't. I think nine said three is good, so I don't know who is the black between 1, 2, 3. Now we know it's two, right? So I didn't know who is the black between 1, 2, 3. I did it. I just know it's just not three reds. That's it. Five.
Guys, 2, 3, 4, 6 voted for 7. Why does 8 said 2 Mafia voted for 7? I never voted for 7. Never. I don't know what 7 left the game is, okay? So it's just like surrendering. 5 didn't knew he needed to reveal. 8 told him 5 sheriff reveal. 8 told him reveal. And 5 saying 8 is Mafia because he knows. Okay? He thought he revealed as well. Okay, Gambit? Now you understand it? He thought 8 revealed as well because they're Mafia together. I checked 4 because I said that round 04 is the most sus. I thought, Gambit, you can be everything. You check 9, check 10. I didn't want to check you and then you'll be angry on me. I thought 4 is the blackest for taking 2, and if 4 is red, 2 is more red. And yes, 8 was correct. A lot of players played with 4, but I played with players who played with 4 without 4. And I said last round 4 is the reddest, so I almost reveal. I tried to counter it and even speak to 4. And I got a lot of colors in 3. And 3, why do you want me to check you when I...
Wow. I tried to think who's blacker between 2 and 8 for me, because I played against both of them last round. 8 just threw his vote. His vote didn't matter to him. He threw his vote to the trash. But 2 played against me so unbelievably hard the entire game. I stopped myself. I just don't know how you can be so incorrect on my color. But the thing is, if I was not here
I
last,
threw the votes first. 10 could split on 2.
but like, it's.
But as Town asked me not to split, I did not split.
The thing is, if I was not here last round, and this is, I think, what's deciding it for me, 10 would have split 3 players. If instead of me, any other player would would go with 3.
Yeah, but one, the reason I was suspecting you, because you said that you think that player number 6 is red. Then you, me and 6 together with 3 and 4 voted 7, and you voted together with 7, which is the player who you voted to, against me. By the way, the reason I can say it, like, there's no version, right? Because 8 could have just voted me out in the previous round, and there'll be a split between me and 7, and you could have convinced you could have convinced 1 or 3 or 4 to vote me instead of 7. Now just he didn't vote for me, he voted for somebody else for his vote, and now 7 for his share. He doesn't know what 7 is, but he let him vote out. So that's why 8 is Mafia, because it just let 7 vote out. Yes, and also 5 has no version, because his Mafia is who? 2, 10, and who? So who like 1 voted with 5 and 7 to 2, right? If 8 votes to me, like I'm split, so 1 is with win. So there's a Mafia for player number 5 between 3 and 4. Who is the Mafia between 3 and 4 for player number 5? No one, because 4 is red and 3 is it says in red. So now vote 8.
Everyone who gave a lecture about how to play red card is Mafia now.
Yeah, I wanted to say my first minute because I was like in 8. I
Why
didn't
did you
have
miss?
time
I
to
said 4,
speak.
5, 4, 5. Why miss?
I had another thing. I thought about night. What it would be funny if all of the lecture will be red or black. Yeah. So maybe boss head to black. So Gambit, I'm disappointed you voted me. I thought I gave really good arguments why 10 is not voting to 2 is like basically I'm the one who is split because I threw only the vote the first one. So 10 decide to vote to eliminate 7 by not voting to 2.
To
It's
anyone's
like really
watching
strong.
at home, that's why you don't split the 8 players.
I thought it's really good argument why we should eliminate 2, but GG guys.
Funny game, funny game. Yeah, I love you too, guys. Thank you for the lecture and for the game, and let's have more fun games if you have enough energy for it tonight. I'm going to skip so we can go to the next game, and GG.
The game is over. Mafia have won.
Well done, well done, well done.
Oh man, that was a lesson.
Gambit.
No, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at my friend that knows I'm a good player and doesn't listen to my will. I left 3 and 7 red. Why are you voting to 7?
Exactly.
7 is red. I said to vote between 1 and 6. Why are you voting to 7?
It's fine. It's just a game. It happens.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I really thought Gambit was Mafia. That's why he was leading the vote and changed.
No, I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
So yeah. Oh, you changed your name. M.
Didn't change it, but for Mordred to find me on any platform, I needed to add some letters because he couldn't find me.
Oh.
I did it just for the beneficial of this occasion.
Wait,
But I still
Gambit,
like the margin.
Gambit,
Oh, wow, that
explain,
was
explain to me
I'll
why
return
the
to my
argument
own.
I gave was not enough to
No, but that was a good play from Dusha. He
Oh,
went
no,
against
I
one,
thought
and it was creative.
I thought you talked well, Raz, but I was
Mhm.
I didn't believe the rest of them.
well, that was an ass whooping.
Don, when you say the word lie, I know you're safe. I know how to find you. We play so much together, and you still went out.
Hi all. There was a funny moment on the round 0 that I think Dan was done, and he was start speaking about 9, and like I think he repeated 9 a couple times. And that was funny because I was watching the game from the lobby. That was funny to watch this. The dynamics.
What was funny?
Static coordination.
And start speaking from 9
Mhm.
and said that 9 took all of the red players.
And this is right. This is right. 3, 5, 7, and 8.
Hey, I'm talking about dynamics, and 9 was kills.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it was static, by the way, but yeah.
It was
It was
static? Please give me the honor. Come on, Dusha.
No,
you
had a great position, but it was static kills.
Guys, mute yourself for a moment. We're still streaming, apparently.
Oh.
Guys, thank you for watching us and joining us for this live game after the class. I hope everyone had fun and had a productive night. I had no idea we're still streaming. Everyone, good night, have fun, and join us if you're here in Swiple. Until next time, thanks for joining us.